Welcome back to Light Talk, where the paranormal and the supernatural is a part of our everyday lives. I want to welcome back our two guests. They're fantastic. They've got so many stories to tell, and so we're going to get going. So, welcome back to the show, you two. Go ahead and
Thank
introduce
you, Dana.
yourselves.
Thank you so much for having us
Yeah,
back
really
again.
appreciate it.
I was flattered that we got another hour to talk. That's awesome. So anybody who remembers, we were on the last episode we were just started talking about our adventures in ghost hunting.
Say your name.
Oh, you're right. I need to introduce myself. Christina Harlan.
And then I'm Jake Harlan.
And we're a mother-son writing duo. We're ghost writers, but we also like to write about ghosts. And so that's my little joke. Sorry. Anyway, so we had been talking last time about our exploring of ghost hunting, literal ghost hunting experiences, and Dana was kind enough to let us know how to do that more safely. So we've been sort of talking about our experiences with being amateur ghost hunters.
Christina Harlan, she wanted to write a book series about paranormal investigators. So she wanted to investigate around the Missouri area for various paranormal sites. And I wanted to accompany her to keep her safe out there. And also I'm acting as a researcher. We weren't business partners back then, but now we do. I do help her edit and everything, write for other people.
He's a good writer. And then we've got the first volume of our story, Screamster, is going to be released on April 20th. And Dana was kind enough to let me send a link. So if anybody's interested, you can check out our link to our sales at Amazon.com.
Screamster is about an experience that we've had together working at Worlds of Fun. But you will also on our author page find the Other Natural series, and that's what she was inspired to write during our ghost travels.
This is true. Yeah, so that'll all be on there. So thank you, Dana. That's really nice of you to let us do a little
getting the word out there.
Do a little plug there.
It's so hard, so we really appreciate you letting us do that.
The Screamster series is going to be a lot of fun.
It's our passion project.
We're looking forward to publishing that.
I think Dana wants to hear what inspired us to write such spooky stories.
Well, okay. So should we continue talking about our adventures around Missouri?
Yeah, let's do that. We can start with some of the small ball ones, and then we can build up to some of the bigger confrontations that we've had. Besides the ones we already talked about last time.
Well, yes, yeah. That was some of the scarier stuff that's happened. Now
the story I think coming up is definitely my favorite. I think it's my favorite of the paranormal encounters that we've had. It's pretty amazing.
I agree, and it was the most recent too. But I wanted to just throw in a brief plug for a local haunted location we've got called the Glore Psychiatric Hospital. That's Glore, Glore, and it is literally a museum. It used to be a psychiatric hospital, but they have turned into a museum. It's in St. Joseph, Missouri. I highly recommend it. It's fascinating.
We didn't have any awful encounters there.
I got a good scare there, but I'm not going to act like I saw a Civil War ghost, but I feel like he snuck up on me.
Okay.
So it's a great museum, and it is in a building where if you're sensitive at all, I bet you'll pick up on some very interesting vibes there. So Glore Psychiatric, great place to see.
They have some interesting things, like they have a display of all of the contents that they retrieved out of someone's stomach who was a compulsive swallower of objects. So it's like this display of things that they retrieved
some gory
from their system.
Stuff, some nasty
stuff. It's
like,
for anyone who's curious about this kind of thing.
Gruesome things. So it's a lot of fun, and you learn something, and then it's also got some spooky stuff going on. So I did want to throw in a plug for Glore, and then let's just talk about Lexington.
Yeah, let's do that. Lexington's a big site because that's a site around Missouri. You'll find a lot of sites about relate to the Civil War,
right? So
and Lexington is a big one of those.
A very close to us. It's about an hour away from us, and it was a big battlefield site in the Civil War. Well, of course, sites like that always have a lot of energy around them, and this one, there is a house that was used as a temporary hospital for a Civil War battle, and it was it is really obviously a haunted place. I mean, it's just these battlefields themselves are very spooky.
Now, was this a site where they had someone in costume showing us
Yeah,
around?
that actually was. It's a tourist site, but if you get a chance to go to the second floor of this building or into the cellar,
Now, do you remember the name of the building exactly? Like what place we were at in
this is
Lexington?
just called the Lexington Battlefield site. Now, the house name. Okay, here's what you tell the story about.
Yeah, how about you share? I'll look it up.
Okay,
This is why we're a duo.
yeah, this is how he always helps me. Okay, then I'll share.
Go ahead.
So you go to this hospital location and they will take you on a tour around. It's fascinating. There's still bullet holes in the walls and everything from the battle site, but the cellar clearly is where they kept some of the most seriously injured people. And I think the amputations were done down there because the screaming. Anyway, it's a spooky site if you want to go see that.
The Confederate Memorial State Historic Site.
Okay, thank you,
Is that
Jake.
what it's called? Confederate Home of Missouri, including Confederate Home Chapel. I think that's what it's called.
Okay, but that is not our story. Our story is in another part of Lexington where the battlefield actually went into the backyards of some homes.
Oh, that's right.
There's really no place safe in Lexington when this battle was going on.
This site, we went there just last year. Was it how close was it to Halloween?
It was very close, and they were doing a seance.
That's
Now,
right.
Dana's going to laugh because unfortunately this seance was being conducted by they didn't have a medium. They had a ghost hunter conducting the seance, and so it really wasn't a proper seance. He had us all in a room and he was like using his EMP detector, and he really did not know what he was doing.
His main method was a ghost box that flicks through countless channels trying to get in contact with spirits. Now, I think we need to do a little more setup first because this isn't just
to say that this was supposed to be a seance, but here's what actually did happen.
This house, you need to understand this house that we went to. It was owned by a man who I think is either Davy Crockett or Davy Crockett's long lost kid because he's this old grizzled long beard man with a coonskin hat on.
Yeah.
And he was lurking around Lexington. And he showed us to his house, and we were in a big group. And this is not a teeny place, but it's small on the inside. It's a little teeny for 30 plus people going inside.
There were 40 people.
There were 40 people filing inside of this place, and he shows us inside. And the first thing you see upon entering this place is, first off, it's dead of night. It's close to Halloween, probably an orange moon outside. And the first thing you see is a mounted buffalo head by a piano. It's like greeting you basically at the door, this buffalo head staring at you above this piano. And then every single room of this man's house looks like something out of a natural history museum. You go into the living room and they have a full display of an emu in a nest with a full nest and eggs, and it's a stuffed taxidermy emu staring at the TV along. I think it's next to the television.
It was, yeah.
In a glass box. In another room of the house, they have a full horse.
He's not kidding.
It's a complete taxidermy horse.
They had, in addition to the emu and the horse, they had snakes, rabbits, squirrels, all manner of birds, all of them stuffed. Foxes. There were foxes.
Don't forget about in the thing that concerned me the most in the kitchen was the stuffed taxidermy black goat.
A black goat, a mountain goat that was white, and then
I thought it was a black billy goat.
No, there was a black goat, and there was a mountain goat that was white. All right, but like you just walk in and immediately you're confronted by taxidermy animals.
Every room in the house.
Unfortunately, they were done well enough that they looked very lifelike. And the buffalo head, you won't believe how big this thing was. It was as big as the piano, practically.
Yeah,
I mean,
practically.
I guess it was probably a bison more so than a buffalo, but it was enormous. I don't know what was holding it up on the wall. So immediately the man and his wife start telling us their ghost stories, and what they may have a ghost. I don't know.
They were talking about a little girl.
They may have a ghost. But whatever their ghost is doing, it's very subtle and quiet compared to these animals.
Well, because this man, he gets us set up for this seance. We're all gathered around the largest room in the home. We're surrounded by these windows to the garden, and we're all sitting on as many pieces of chairs that they could gather from around here. And by the way, this was since this was near Halloween, they had a couple of actors around, so there was a couple of people in Ghost Confederate sort of makeup and get up around us. At the time, I don't think we were casting our light bubbles around us.
No, but it all felt a little silly with the costume characters and everything.
A little silly. This man, this inexperienced seance person do you remember his name? What it was like Jeff?
Oh, I don't want to name it.
Oh no,
I'm not going to give his name. That's a very good idea. I mean, he meant well. He just didn't know what he was doing.
He sits down in the middle, and he turns on this radio, and he wants to get into contact with this particular ghost that the owners were mentioning.
Right. But they were trying to reach this woman.
We are unable to get through to this woman during this seance, and there's 30 of us all holding hands, all trying to believe in this. It's a huge 40, tons of energy pouring in, but guess what? All that energy, it's not going anywhere except that radio is picking up just sounds of animal
sounds. Yeah, I mean, the house is just like.
Speaking of which,
he scared me. Sorry, that was our dog, and he's not a ghost, not yet. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. Sorry about that.
No,
he's gonna protect us from the mailman. So, but that was well timed, Cooper.
Yeah, very well timed.
We got so much interference from these animals, and it's like we couldn't believe this man is conducting the seance, trying so hard. He's trying to reach Simone. Let's talk to Simone. And we're like,
the radio,
that black goat.
The radio is picking up like a noise like that, but then it would be interrupted by groveling noises. It would be interrupted by a distant like it picked these up. It just picked these up. Now this guy, the person who was conducting the seance was like, "Oh, we're getting nothing. We're getting no we're getting nothing at all." And meanwhile, I'm thinking, if you are going to collect a haunted item, if you want to have your home be haunted, like people collect haunted dolls and things like that, but how much more haunted can you get than a literal taxidermy body in your home?
I wouldn't have them in my house. They give me the screaming willies, and I don't like to see stuffed animals myself. That's just my personal opinion.
I'm gonna go handle the dog real quick. I'll be right back.
Okay. All right. So I don't want to offend any of our watchers who are like fond of taxidermy or anything. No offense intended, but I don't personally like it. And seeing these animals was pretty upsetting to me. And then when they started, the seance is going on, and I felt animal interference. We're in this room with this black goat. I definitely felt like this goat was, trying to say something, not in English or anything, but, sort of like we're reaching out saying, talk to us. And I feel like the animals were. The people around us, some of them remember the woman behind us? She got upset enough that she had to leave the room, and her mother had to, or a daughter had to practically carry her out of the room because they were right behind us. And I feel like that black goat I
knew it was looking at me. I knew the thing was looking at me the whole time. Imagine if someone is worried about the supernatural, imagine having a taxidermy black goat in your house. I don't know if you could get much more haunted than that. So the person who was leading the seance, the person who was leading the seance wasn't looking for animals, but that's what he should have been doing. Well, any other ghost they might have had might be complete interference.
Um, we weren't ever going to get through to Simone. Not as many animal voices as we heard in that house, and I had never before, aside from the fact that we're pretty sure that one of our previous cats is still, his spirit is still in the house.
Oh yeah,
and that's fine. Actually, I love to have him around here. I love to catch sight of him every now and then, but I had never imagined that a house could be so full of animal spirits.
you don't think, a lot of people don't think about it. You just think of people.
Yeah.
Like, it's a problem, of course, but animal spirits have just as much spiritual connection and energy as the rest of us.
Well, maybe more. I don't know. I mean, it felt like we all sat down and sort of opened ourselves. We were all sort of in a meditative state because he took us down. He was like, close your eyes, breathing exercises and everything to get us all tuned in. And that's when we started hearing animal sounds loud and clear
coming through his little ghost box radio.
So we were all open to it. And I felt like they were trying to talk to us, or talk, is not exactly, but trying to reach out to us. Now, this is all enough to be like, wow, that was a crazy experience. And when we were done, I went up to him and I said, listen to your recording of this again and email me, see if you hear any animal sounds, because we did. And he said, okay, I'll listen. I'll get back to you. And he never did. So that's okay. He's busy.
So then we leave.
Yeah. Now this is interesting. So
we're heading out of Lexington and we're heading back towards home. And on our drive home, we have an unusual amount of animal encounters on the road.
Yeah.
We see on the side of the road a wild dog. Oh, this big bird comes swooping over our hood.
It was a big,
deer in the road, a wild raccoon skittering in front of our car.
Now we have to say that in Missouri in October, it is not unusual to see a deer or a raccoon, and we have hawks everywhere. But at night, really, you only see the deer and the raccoon. The hawks are not.
You might encounter one of these things on your drive.
One animal on your drive, but this was just one after another, and all within about 10 miles of this house. And so we were.
I'm wondering, Dana, if you have any thoughts about any of this so far, because it stumps us today.
It was a strange experience.
At this point, I am getting that the goat is one of your guides, Jake. That's why he was watching you. That's what's coming to me. That he was like, the goat is like one of your animal guides. So that's what I got off that.
Oh my God. Okay.
And then I'll have to think more about the animals on the street. There is something with that. Maybe they felt safe around you because of the way you were thinking in the house. They started feeling safe around you. It could have been that, I'm just throwing things out. I'm not quite sure, but
it's throwing. Okay.
If you guys had yourselves built with the white light around you, they could have seen that light and was attracted to you. So they were coming towards you.
We didn't know at the time to project our light, but I would like to think me and Chris always project a sort of empathy. I know I've been known to take care of animals. I've had pet rats, and I never taxidermied them.
It's just that we were so kind of offended is a strong word, but we were concerned because we felt the animal spirits in that house, and it seemed to me like this house is screaming with animal spirits, and there's the people that live there. First of all, I believe they were the ones who did the taxidermy. And then secondly, they're so focused on this tale of a female a woman who used to live there who may still be haunting it.
They've had paranormal encounters in that home before, but they attributed it to this woman. And
Yeah.
meanwhile, I'm like, hey, does anyone else see the stuffed horse downstairs?
Yeah.
Do you think the ghost horse might be a little have some unfinished business?
I didn't even like being in the house. It was so noisy with just these various animal spirits.
When you say noisy, did you feel it?
I did. I mean, every room we were in, I was like, I can't even concentrate with these animals looking at me.
Yeah, it did feel like they were looking at us.
I didn't like it there. And I felt really bad for the animals, especially since, we opened up the floor to say, communicate with us, and then we ignored them. Well, we didn't, but, basically the same.
I think we felt what the person who was trying to conduct the seance was not feeling. So I guess one of the pieces of advice we can give to anyone who's looking for haunted sites like this is to trying to go with someone who knows what they're doing, more of an expert, someone who has experience in this and knows what the specific spirit to contact.
Maybe so. I mean, I feel like this was maybe our final foray into these arranged tours, because I still
recommend going to a more guided tour rather than go by yourself.
Yes, but not with people who aren't somewhat experienced.
Would you want to maybe shoot them an email before you go, asking them some questions?
I don't know what
because otherwise I don't know how you learn how experienced someone is with the supernatural before you meet them.
Well, that's a good question. But it was just clear from the beginning that they wanted us to have sort of a fun, spooky experience, but they weren't really looking at what was actually happening in the house.
If it were me,
I'm sure of it.
I would, if I were investigating another site, which is definitely just sometime possible, I would go with a guided tour, but I would keep in mind any feelings I got from the person who was leading it. And I wouldn't confront them if they seemed inexperienced, but instead I would alter the energy around me to allow for any kind of inexperience.
Right.
If I would alter what I would allow in, I would maybe keep myself safer, keep the energy different.
This is what you told us in our last visit. Was to, beforehand put the positive light around yourself.
Yeah.
And just protect yourself with this sort of barrier that says evil is not welcome here. We want only love coming in. Now, as for this, I call it the animal house. It's not a great name for it, but that's what I call it.
It makes you think of frat house.
It makes me think of a frat house, right? Because of the movie. But I wish the people who were conducting this had noticed that what they were listening for was not who was talking to us. And I feel like that is inexperience right there. That felt like the most inexperienced thing to me. I don't know at what point you can raise your hand and say, I'm sorry, but is nobody else hearing the animals?
You know what? Here's an interesting question. What if we were the only ones who heard those animals? Because no one else mentioned them.
I don't know how they couldn't have. I know the women behind us had to leave because they got really upset. And
what if we were the only ones who were listening for something like that?
That's a good question. I don't know.
Any thoughts, Dana?
One thing you could do is write back that company that did the tour and just let them know, hey, this guy was mentioning the girl, the female, but we were hearing animals.
Yeah.
So maybe there's something that you guys could be looking at with sharing with the animals along with maybe the females. So they're aware of it, even if they don't realize it. Maybe you could give them the heads up saying, hey, we heard this. And has anybody else heard that?
I like the idea of emailing them after the fact because you don't want to be the person in the middle of something that someone's trying to organize for you. It'd be like, excuse me, my ghost experience is it the same as yours?
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to be like the Karen in the group who's like, I would like to speak with the manager, please. But here's the thing. This house was a private residence. We were invited in by the owners. They wanted a seance to talk to Simone. And great, fine. And Simone may well be there, but so I'm not sure if it was the fact that we didn't actually have an experienced medium who was conducting the ceremony. Our ghost hunter guy, he was just sort of reaching out, asking for Simone politely, as you said, Dana. He was being polite about it. He was like, if Simone is here and would like to talk to us. So there was like, he wasn't doing a bad thing. He wasn't being a bad guide, but he just didn't.
He didn't quite know what to ask for. He would like he would be like, hey, does anyone around here want to ask any questions?
Yeah.
Well, what do you all suggest we do? What do you all think she might be feeling right now? It felt like sort of a second person seance.
So the reason why we kind of like this story is twofold. Because first of all, it was an excellent object lesson. If you're a writer, there's nothing better than seeing somebody do something the wrong way or an inefficient way to help you with writing. Because, believe it or not, when you go, if you wanted to write a scene where somebody was not doing a seance bad, like they were doing it poorly, that's actually a lot harder to write, because it's like, well, what does that even mean? So when you see somebody making a mistake, it's actually like golden for writing. So it was great for that.
You also get the full breadth of an experience.
Yeah.
Like the experience of not just the art of a seance, but the art of going to some place. When, what time, what is this location, what are they looking for, what people could be around, what could happen, what couldn't happen, what tools they use. There's just, I would say, any experience is worth it, as long as you're careful and you put your barriers up and you put your light around you.
Now we know.
Yeah, thanks to Dana.
So the second thing about this experience was the animals. And like I said, we have our cat. His name in fact is Magic, and I know he's still here with us. But I had never been in a place where the animals were so loud. And it's a little bit touchy too, because these animals, I'm positive that Davy Crockett, as Jake said, he was probably the person who hunted and either that or he was the one who did the taxidermy art on these animals. He did a great job. I like I said, it's just my opinion is I don't like taxidermy, but
I think a lot of people believe that spirits can roam around, especially pets. I believe that they could, a lot of people believe that spirits could linger with us.
It's something I've never really thought about much until this house. And that just kind of changed my mind about a lot of things. And then, on the way home, the animals that were coming and
the spirit
and
world,
appearing.
The spirit world is a complicated place. I've also heard that animals are attuned to it in a different way, that they have a sixth sense that we don't sometimes.
And I believe that that's true. Animals are very, very sensitive. They, from what I'm understanding, like a dog, let's say a dog, they're in one part of the house, but they can hear like a mouse scritching across inside the walls. They can hear all that from like a completely opposite side of the house.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah.
My dog personally actually watches spirit all the time in my house. She's always watching, looking, and you could tell because she'll be like this, and she'll like, she'll be bouncing her head all over because they do move pretty quickly. So she's always watching spirit in our house. So they're very sensitive. They read people better than you can even imagine. They're licking you to, excuse me, they're licking you to get the sense of what is within your body, the chemicals and everything within your body.
Okay,
they are sniffing you. they're sniffing you to understand the smells that are coming out of your body. So they are actually checking on you all the time to check your health issues. Where are you at on your health?
Right.
What is going on with all of that? And when they're sniffing all around, they're sniffing the sense of the history of the air and what's around at that moment. So when they're sniffing the ground, they could be sniffing like something that happened thousands of years ago. They could be smelling that. They're smelling the history of everything that's around them. They're smelling the spirits. They're seeing the spirits. They're hearing the spirits. They're very, very sensitive. Oh, forgive me. Forgive me. I just lost his name. Give me 1 second here. Oh, I can't believe I just lost his name.
Well, we had to look up a building.
Yeah, we had to look up something too. That's okay.
No, I was just watching some of his stuff today, and that's why I'm like, oh my goodness, what was his name? I'm just missing it right now. I am so sorry, but he's the name will probably jump out at me here in a minute.
Okay. Yeah,
But
mention it when you think of it.
He is an animal communicator. He was one of my guests. That's why I'm like,
yes, I remember.
It's going to drive me crazy.
That episode, didn't we?
Yeah, he had a backdrop of all of the books he wrote. He had the book covers up, and he communicated with cats and things.
Good episode.
Yes.
Yeah, we like hearing him too. I would love to know what he thinks of our taxidermy house. I don't know how he can get into it.
He is. I could see if I can get you two connected, but he is a paranormal investigator also. So he does do this type of stuff, and he is an animal communicator. So it would be very interesting. Huh?
There's precedent for this?
I mean, clearly.
We're not just talking. All right.
Yeah,
I'm glad we're not just imagining.
No, I will. No, he's good with that. So he can understand all of that too. And kind of maybe he might have some ideas about this house, of what's going on with the house, and the animals might speak to him. I don't know what he'll do for you, but but
it would be interesting to know what he thought. I would love to know his take on a house that is basically full of, I hate to say it, but animal corpses. And I realize that, they're stuffed, and I mean, who knows, maybe the guy who stuffed them did it very respectfully. I don't know. It's just something.
I don't know how you do that respectfully.
It bothers me, but I don't pretend to understand,
When you look back at your other stories of the Sally house, and we were talking about the basement room, that little cave.
Yeah.
And we were talking, well, maybe that's where he had bodies or something. I don't, what we were saying.
That
he could have got bodies in that wall. Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of with that is with the animals are still going to be there, along with all the energy from those bodies. Possibly. We don't know, but the energy of those animals are going to be around. So it's the same thing. Animals will come back to you. They will speak with you. Rob. Sorry.
There you go.
Rob. It's Rob. I can't. He'll come to me. This is why I don't say names on my podcast, because I have very horrible memory of names. It's horrible.
All good.
But yeah, so it's the energy of the animal that is coming back. They have spirit just like we do. So you can connect with your animals that have passed. They can come back and visit you. It's all the same as a human. I mean, their energy too. So they can be there, and the energy from those animals could have been there.
The spirit world is kind of an amazing place.
Yes, it is.
The first ghost that I ever actually met was my cat. that we lost Magic, and he's still here. The first year after he died, I saw him everywhere.
You felt his weight press on the bed
I mean, you
next
could
to you.
feel him. Yeah, he was very clearly there. Now it's less now. He doesn't show up maybe once every 2 or 3 months. I'll see him.
I saw him just the other day. I swear.
No, that's right. You said.
I saw him walking down the hallway.
You said, "Mom, I just saw ghost
It's
magic."
very faint for just like a split second, but I swear I saw him.
I mean, that was when I first was like, "Oh my goodness, I'm actually seeing a ghost," and it was my cat. And that maybe that's the first thing a lot of people experience is a pet. I don't know. I mean, it just seems like it was sudden to me, and then it kind of opened my mind to like, wait a minute, maybe I need to take this all a little more seriously.
We were able to take the experience of our eyes opening, and we were able to turn it into our writing, right?
Oh, yes. Which does that lead us on now to haunt?
Yeah, let's talk. All
right,
that.
so let's get
I think
haunt
let's
out of the way
do
here.
something. We'll talk about something more fun.
Yeah. But
were
we do love our animals, so I'm sorry, taxidermy animals. We wanted to listen to you.
Well, we weren't content with just exploring the world of ghosts and what could be possible with ghosts. We weren't just content with that. Instead, we decided we wanted to become ghosts. So, nearby at Worlds of Fun, they have an event called Haunt. So every September through October, during the weekends, it becomes. I mean, it's the same thing. It's a Halloween event. It's the same. All kinds of amusement parks put on this, and like Kansas City has the Beast and the Edge of Hell, and they put on these haunted attractions. So we're like, hey, no better way to get experience with the supernatural than pretending to be the supernatural.
Right.
So we decided we wanted to join this. So we did it for 3 years. Miraculously, because it's an exhausting experience.
It's hard work. It's like very hard work.
It's waiting in the dark. It's scaring people. That's one thing. But imagine, I mean, this is like we said before, in Missouri, there's not a lot to do. So if you are a teenager wanting something to do, you want to go to an amusement park. And so this place was just flooded with people. So imagining thousands of people walking by and dressing up as something and scaring them over and over. I felt like I was at Monsters Incorporated.
He did a very good job. He won.
I won
like Screamster of the Year twice for the houses he was in. But it was play acting. I mean, we were basically playing a role. What were we? We were ghosts.
So in the first year, we were ghosts in Ripper Alley. So we were pretending to be people murdered by Jack the Ripper.
Then the next year, I was a zombie, and Jake was like
I was in Peter Pumpkin Eater. So that was
you like a pumpkin monster.
Pumpkin monster.
Okay.
That's it's a pumpkin monster.
And then the third year, we were vampires, and so. This part of it was just play acting, but what was really interesting about it is when you're in that park at night and the energy is very, very high, things can get weird. Everybody's hyped up, really, and there's a lot of alcohol.
Talk about energy.
There's a lot of beer flowing.
Yeah.
There's high energy. There's altered perceptions.
One of the rooms I worked in Ripper Alley had a Ouija board in it, which I mess with all the time. And I had like at least 3 people tell me you all shouldn't be messing with that. So the supernatural energy of the park can be very high. I've heard reports of employees saying that there are phantom guests that weren't really there. That
phantom guest is an interesting phenomenon.
The strobe lights, like that, the people would be popping in and out that didn't actually exist. We encountered. I know you and I encountered someone that didn't actually exist.
So there's a sort of an urban legend, I thought it was, about this kid called the Timberwolf Ghost. And
the Timberwolf's one of the coasters at the park.
Timberwolf is a big wooden coaster. I think it's still in operation. But it was at least 30 years old, so it's been around a while. And there is a kid, a janitor, who cleans the area, except there's nobody by that name on the park's records. Like, they have not hired anybody named Jimmy.
Well, we didn't know this.
Who cleans.
We were on a paved road by the by the Timberwolf. And of course, during Haunt, they're going to make it look spooky. So they're going to make the whole park look dark and foggy. So if you're in a dark and foggy environment, like if you're just walking down the street and it's dark and foggy, you're thinking, oh, it's creepy. But if you're in one of those here at Haunt, you're like, oh, this is just normal. We were basically by ourselves. It's rare to have a place in the park where you are mostly alone, but there are these stretches of roads that aren't as inhabited as others. And that's when this kid starts asking us questions, and he was pushing a janitor's cart. He was young. He was clearly not what's a way to say
he was on the spectrum.
On the spectrum, like his eyes were wide, and
he repeated his questions a lot. And we thought that he was maybe on the spectrum when we were talking to him, but that's fine. We answered his questions.
He was trying to get to know us.
We were very friendly.
We were just as ghosts. We were probably heading off to escort some people to the restroom or something, and he was asking us questions and getting to know us. He was like, "What does your dad do? Where does your dad work?
Where's so funny?
Where do you work? What's your name? How long have you been here? When's your birthday? When is your birthday?" And then if you tell him, he would remember. He would like, "Oh yeah, that's your birthday."
Yeah, it was.
And so we talked to him. We were polite, but we had to get going. We turned one way to look for our escorts, and we turn around, and there is no more. There's no more janitor.
So Jimmy's gone.
Jimmy's gone.
And then we were like, "Oh, that was funny. I thought he wanted to come with us."
This is not a scare actor. This is a janitor.
Yeah, it was just a janitor. We thought he was coming with us. And then I mentioned it in the makeup room, and you want to talk about gossip. You go to the makeup room to get your ghost paint on. Like you sit down in the makeup chair, and there's like 18 makeup artists, and there's like a what is that game you used to play called Gossip? You probably never played it, but you pretend to talk on the phone, and the message changes as you go down. So the girls in the makeup room, they play telephone. The stories go through, and I said something about this kid Jimmy that we saw by the Timberwolf, and then somebody said, "Oh, that's our Timberwolf ghost," and I was like, "Yeah, but really, he did actually come. He was trying to come with us," and they're like, "There's no Jimmy, there's no Jimmy," and then somebody said, "Somebody's always talking about meeting Jimmy. There's no Jimmy," and I thought they were just sort of being silly with me. But then Jake and I decided we were going to write a book about working at a haunted theme park, and Screamster is the result of that. That's the book that we've got coming out on the 20th.
It's a fictionalized account starring fictional characters,
right? But we started asking a lot of questions. And
like we did digging on the Facebook page about Haunt, and we wanted to know other people's supernatural experiences if we were going to write about it.
This boy we saw, people talk about him a lot, and nobody knows who he is. He's just a guy,
the janitor,
Jimmy Timberwolf, or the Timberwolf ghost, they call him. And it's like, who is he? Why is he always hanging around? Nobody knows who he is, or if he works. Like, the park has no record of this guy working there.
He's not the only ghost encounter that people have around there. When we did research on the park, there was lots of people with paranormal experiences. This is the most concrete one that we saw and that we got research on.
You're talking about the blonde kid, the little boy.
Well, yeah, and the people see these children in photographs that don't exist.
Yeah. Okay, so you know how anymore people take a lot of photo op pictures? You got all right, so
in photo ops,
an amusement park is full of photo ops. So we also heard a story about if people were bringing their kids in and getting a lot of photo ops with them, there'd start to be a blonde child appear in the pictures, and it's not one of their family. Like it just looked like a photo bomb, like this kid accidentally wandered through, except we heard it was the same blonde child showing up in picture after picture of these photo ops. Like, who is this little boy in our pictures?
That
was the one that creeped me out. I liked Jimmy.
You get 300 something employees dressed up like ghosts parading around for people during Halloween. That talk about energy. I'm not sure you can organize a better gathering of spiritual energy in one place.
If I were an actual ghost wandering the land, I'd be like, hey, that's where I want to go. People are ready to take me home with them.
People are already scared.
Now that Dana's let us know this could happen.
They've let down let down their light and their barriers.
I mean, you go there specifically to be scared.
This
You
kid,
know,
this
like,
kid Jake's messing with a Ouija board.
yeah, I mean, so part of what we wrote our book about was this possibility that you go there too open, it can draw unpleasant spirits. And so our book is not, it's not like gory or unpleasant. We try to stay sort of on the light side of things and be more humorous and adventurous than anything else. But
I think the
it's
reason why we wanted to bring this to everyone's attention is because I think a lot of people are interested in not even just writing, but in experiencing the area around them and seeing where seeing the energy and the high energy locations that people live by. They want to see what parts of their land and their home are haunted and experiencing it for themselves. And to people who are interested in exploring on their own, I think the conclusions that we're drawing is that you should, and that experiencing these things is quite an eye-opening adventure you could have, but you need to be careful.
yeah, taking care is
Yeah.
important. I will say one
Yeah.
other thing about working at the park, at the theme park as scare actors. We had rituals, and I didn't even realize it till you talked about these things you do to protect yourself. The going into the park and getting dressed up, and then at the end of the night, turning in your costume, taking off your makeup and everything. This was rather ritualistic. It's like you come in, you prepare yourself to be part of it. You're part of it for like 6 hours, and then you undo it all
I think tribes used to do these
and you
things. So
leave.
they get makeup on their faces. People like in Dia de los Muertos, they get the makeup of the skull paint on their face to remember the dead. And I'm not going to say that that's exactly what we did, but it's very similar.
Okay, so but what I'm thinking is like you did sort of have this ritual, as you said,
Yeah.
like you build up, you participate, then you take it all off and you're done. Now we have never had a problem afterward, after being in this part of anything unpleasant. It's all been fun for us, but I'm thinking of the people who come for entertainment's sake. I have no trouble believing that they're, maybe
That they could
maybe
encounter
looking
something
for.
there.
No, I mean, because I've heard we met Jimmy, and I'm not gonna say, oh, it was definitely a ghost. I mean, I don't, but who is this kid? If
You never know what you're going to find out there.
you never know,
You
and
never know when you start exploring. I've heard a lot of people feel like strangers even in a place that they've lived for years. And I feel like going out and exploring is definitely worth it if you're cautious, because you never know what you're going to find out there.
it can really change your perspective on a lot of things.
And it can be inspiring too.
Very inspiring, as we can attest.
Yeah.
But the energy level at that park is off the charts. And
If you're a Chris and you want to go someplace, you might want to bring a Jake who wants to make sure that she gets home okay to keep her safe.
I have my Jake with me because he takes pictures and helps me remember things.
Not like I have anything better to do. No, I'm kidding.
Okay, so
No. Hey, Dana, are we making sense over here? Or do you have any questions for
yeah,
us?
questions or we can answer anything.
Doing good. When you're talking about the visitors in this park, they may be seeing all these spirits and not even realizing it.
Absolutely.
No.
And not even,
I mean,
they're thinking it's just another person there, another person enjoying the times. So they may not even think twice about it because they're seeing it as real as you and I. So they may
When
have
you go
seen
to a
them
new
all, and
environment like this, you could see people in scare makeup and you see people dressed up like ghosts, and you're currently just trying to figure out where the queue line is for a ride.
right.
You may not realize what kind of entities could be around you at that very moment. And if I was an entity, I'd feel pretty comfortable with showing myself in an environment like that.
I was just thinking if I were an entity looking for somebody to grab onto, that would be an
Oh, yeah,
outstanding
there we
place.
go.
I don't want to like have Worlds of Fun call me and say, "Will you stop saying we have evil entities
No,
here?"
I think it's a what I'm trying to say is that people should go to events like this. If they want to experience the supernatural, there's no better way to do it.
It's it was just a mysterious thing that happened. It's like when you open your eyes and sort of look at the possibilities, things are not as clear cut as you thought they were.
Nope,
Comments?
there's a lot around us at all times. We've got so much energy around us, so many entities, so many different beings of God knows what, we
Yeah.
don't know, but there's beings everywhere. I always think when we talk about this is when I was growing up, I was always told someone's always watching you. And you always think it's only God. God's watching over us, right? God's watching us all the time, but not totally. I mean, there are other entities watching us at all times. I mean, you have to put up your boundaries and everything with them. But like when you're shower or whatever, But you have to have your boundaries. You can't come
Yeah.
in here with me when I'm taking a shower. You can't be in the room when I'm changing or whatever. You're not
Okay.
allowed to be in here at that point, but you're allowed, you know, afterwards, whatever your boundary is. Everyone's boundary is different. So yeah.
It's interesting that if you talk about a place like a a haunted house, not like a what would you call it, like a fun house, like a haunted house set up specifically just to scare you, and you know that it's actors and paint and makeup, but you go in totally open. I mean,
I think
this is
Dana described it very well when she described even if you are consciously aware of it or subconsciously aware of it, you have a barrier around you. And what you're doing is that when you go
okay.
into a fun house like that, you are allowing a certain amount of things in. Like you are allowing people to suddenly startle you. I can't do that at the grocery store as much as I would want.
No, people will ask you to
No,
leave.
they'll ask you to
Yeah,
leave.
they don't like that. They don't like that.
But
But
you go into a fun house, you are allowing other people to come at you with a false negative energy.
mhm.
When you go
because it's
into when you go
right.
into a real haunted house, your barrier changes, whether you're aware of it or subconsciously or not. Of I maybe don't want an actual entity attacking me because I
Right.
understand that a real entity could be attacking me at this location. So I believe that people have control of that energy around them that allows spirits of similar love and emotion and empathy to inside of that light of yours.
Maybe I'm just highly suspicious because I spent too many late nights alone in a haunted house at Worlds of Fun. The room I was in,
You were the ghost at that
it
point.
was the ghost. Yeah, and it was just a very heavy atmosphere. And I started thinking, if we really wanted to cause some trouble here, this would be a great place to do it. But then that's what, when you have those thoughts, that's what makes you think, what, we should write a book about this.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
that's what we did. So, yeah, I mean, I don't want to like sound like we're these silly kids who just play at being ghosts, but the energy is so high in those places, it does make you wonder with that much power, what can happen? Like this little blonde kid who turns up in pictures. Who is that? What is going on there? I don't know. Who
No,
knows?
we aren't going to do haunt. We've done enough haunt. We've done our time, but we are definitely going to go to other. As much as we talk about this, we are going to go to more haunted sites, right?
Right, right. When
Okay.
he says we're not going to do haunt anymore, he means the annual Halloween at
Yes,
Worlds
yeah,
of Fun.
exactly. Yeah,
They're changing owners and everything, so it's a whole big thing. We don't even know what's going on there, but there may not be anymore. I don't know, but we're not going to do the scare acting anymore.
But we are planning on investigating more.
We will
Aren't we?
continue to
Yeah,
investigate.
especially
Yeah.
after we've heard from Dana and the good advice that she's
Yes,
given
now
us.
we know even better what we're doing. And you put me in touch with Michael Kopp, I think, and he was I hope it's okay that I said his name, but he did reach out to me too. So another person who seems to know what they're doing. So I really
Yeah.
appreciate your
Michael is
help.
really good. Yeah. Michael is really good. He'll be a good teacher for you. Yeah.
Yeah, he recommended
Yeah.
his
He's a
books and
good one.
everything. So I'm looking forward to learning. You know, and
Yeah.
after you
Yeah.
learn
He's a good
and
man.
learn how to do it, maybe the experiences get more meaningful then.
I can see that.
Instead of just these sort of hope for the best
Mhm.
as we dive in and like just start poking at
And
things.
hope to get out in one piece.
Yeah. Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah. And you could check into paranormal investigators around your area. I'm sure there's a few of them over there if it's that active. I'm sure there's a few
It's
of them
very
there.
active. And I know we
So,
have some good ones. I believe that, I think I said this last time. I believe that the people who did our Sally House tour were pretty experienced and careful. So they're not all, like I make it sound like we've just been with a bunch of amateurs, but
Although I got to say, being able to talk about it with someone who understands has been very nice, Dana,
yeah,
and we really
yeah,
appreciate that.
yeah.
yeah.
Well, I don't want anybody going into this blind because it can be a very dangerous thing. So you just got to protect yourself and know
Yeah.
a little bit about what you're doing. So, yeah.
And use a little common sense,
Well, yeah.
maybe, which we're not always employing at the beginning. Like, what's the
Yeah,
worst thing
just
that could happen?
oh, we see something, we hear something, something moves. No. No, it could get much worse than that. So,
Yeah.
yes, just be careful when you're doing that. Go with somebody that's more experienced or very experienced to have to learn off of while you're learning. Yeah.
Okay,
Did
interesting.
you have any other questions for us, Dana?
Ouija boards, don't mess with them. Don't
Oh,
mess with
okay.
them.
Well, I know that now. I actually listened
Yeah, don't
to a
mess with
little
them.
history about Ouija boards, and when I learned about the history, I'm like, oh, they were actually used. This isn't just a board game; they were actually legitimately used to contact spirits. It's just that it was sort of sold by a company and that was acquired by Hasbro, so it's less of a board game. I mean, it is an actual legit thing that people use. I used to
Yeah.
not believe that, and now I know better.
Yeah. I would never touch one, but I know other mediums and all of that do. And but that's because they understand it. They have their protection. They have all that knowledge on how to be safe with it. So I suggest not to be messing with it unless you are with someone that's
Okay.
knowledgeable and knows how to protect themselves.
And you not be dressed up with the makeup as someone who was murdered by Jack the Ripper while you're doing it. I think maybe that's a good idea.
Probably not a good idea.
Okay. All right.
What are you gonna do? Yeah, they use it as a prop. I mean, they don't.
Yeah.
They seem
I
to,
don't even,
you know.
yeah, I don't even want to be in the same room with one.
Yeah, and a
I
lot of people were like that.
I
I
just
think you're right.
I don't even I want nothing to do with those at this point. Um, like I say, I know others that do. They use them all the time, but they've been mediums pretty much their whole lives.
Yeah. Okay.
They know how to work it in a safe manner.
Okay, that's interesting.
I hope these talks can spread some awareness.
Yeah, I hope they're
Yeah.
amusing, but also help people maybe learn if you're interested in ghost hunting. And we in Missouri, we've got so much to do here when it comes to the supernatural. We've got,
We don't have much else to do,
I
honestly.
mean, we, we've got.
Oh,
I
come on,
think,
you have the cows.
We got those cows. Yeah, you got the. Oh, and also don't mess with the cows because you don't want to stuff one and keep it in your house above your piano.
but okay,
Right.
we're the people who had the rash of like cow mutilations. I mean, I know those happen lots of places, but we had cattle mutilations when I was a kid. I remember seeing many news reports on the weird cattle mutilations that would happen. And it had my grandparents scared to death. They were sure that aliens were coming to get the cattle. And this was very common when I was a kid. Now, I haven't heard so much about it lately, but that was down by the Ozarks too. And the Ozarks are very, very supernaturally.
You never know what could happen around here.
I mean,
just miles away from nothing.
Dana, you said you were interested in cryptids, and I mean, the Ozark Mountains have got stories of cryptids there. That's where the Missouri Monster hangs around, and he's our three-toed ape. Now, that doesn't sound as scary, but that's what he's supposed to be, is a giant ape. Anyway, yeah, I mean, we just got everything here. So come to Missouri for your supernatural fix. Head south into the Ozarks. You will never be able to see the end of it.
Yeah, they're all over. The cryptids are all over. We have them here in Colorado. They're all over. Mutilations. There's a place where I grew up. It's really not very far from where I pretty much grew up at. That mutilations. I never experienced anything like that, but I did experience a couple things in that area. So I don't know. It could have been part of what was happening at that time, because these mutilations was about when I was a child, they were going on at the same time. So they're still happening today. They're still happening today in Colorado, and they're happening all over.
Wow.
They're still happening all over. The one I'm watching that was talking about this place, I'm going to try and get her on the show, but she was talking, there was one that was reported at the beginning of this year. It was like January of this year that one was mutilated.
Wow.
I'm sorry to hear that.
So yeah, it's still happening. Yeah, I know, it's so sad.
Exsanguination, like the exsanguination and like removal of certain organs and things. Is that what you're getting? Okay, because that's what we had. And so maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, it's it was, and it really did scare my family quite a bit, because they're farm people. They didn't want to deal with that.
Yeah.
Who does?
I mean, that's your living.
Who does?
Right. Right.
But
right.
And about Colorado, one of the most interesting ghost hunts we ever had was unintentional. We went on a bus tour of up to Pikes Peak, and the Colorado Rockies are like, that's gold rush territory. And a lot of people died up there. I mean, it's just
every place that the bus driver told us about was like, this is two men falling down a well river.
Yeah,
this is three men killed canyon.
This is Massacre Mountainside and all that. I mean, it is a
Poisoner's Gulch.
He had all the ghost stories. So, I mean, it was a lot of fun. It was a really we didn't get out and talk to anything, but the Rockies have got a storied past too. It's fascinating.
Yeah, it's very, very active. Our mountains are very active. We have a lot of Bigfoot sightings. Here where I live, I've seen lights in the sky here where I live. So who is it? A friend of ours is seeing the actual UFO just 15 miles from me. Yeah.
15 miles from you? Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I mean, it's all over the place. I've got more experiences with that side of things that we can talk about at another time or after this. But we've got lots of activity, even in the city. We have lots of stuff going on.
Really? Yeah. I figured the cities were not a place where you could get all that, because first of all, the sky is just so hard to see. when you get into a city.
Remember, Haunt was very similar to that, and that carried so much energy to it.
Well, that's true. That's a good point. We
Yeah.
we are definitely going to keep in touch with you
Yeah.
from now on because I love to hear what's going on with you, and we're gonna
With the community as a whole, I think.
yeah, I mean it's just really fun to meet people who get it.
Who's as like-minded and who don't look at you weird when you say things like the energy aura around you.
Yeah, yeah. It's nice to talk with people who get it.
Yeah, it is nice. I've met a lot of good people through this. I've learned a lot through this. As you
Happy
can tell,
30-year
a lot of
anniversary, by
things.
the way.
Yep.
Oh,
Yeah, you obviously you're spreading the word, so we appreciate that.
yeah. No, it's awesome. I love it. I have a great time. The worst part about it is this computer trying to get all this technical stuff taken.
Oh, that's a whole different
But
horror
it's been
story
fun.
right there.
It's a horror worse than, the actual ghost, but
Yeah.
it's so much fun. I'm just so glad I've gotten all of you guys, all of my guests and everybody coming on here and supporting everybody else because you're the ones supporting the people out there, not me. It's you guys coming on and telling your stories and allowing other people to believe that this is what's going on and they're not going crazy.
Very cool.
Cool.
That's
So
very
it's all
cool.
about you guys. It's all
Is that
about
all you
you.
need from
So
us, Dana?
that's all I got. That's all I've
That's
got.
Okay.
So
well, that's the end of our stories about
Yeah.
ghost encounters
Those
anyway.
are our big ones.
well, thank you both for being on the show again. And
So
it's
much
been a
fun.
great pleasure having you and so much fun listening to you guys. Um, it's wonderful. Thank you so much.
Chris here does all the heavy
Thank you.
lifting. I'm just here to help. I'm
Oh,
just here to
don't
support her.
Stop it.
Well, keep doing your jobs, keep doing your writing, keep up with all of it, but just be safe and have fun.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you so much
Good
for
idea.
the advice.
So if anyone else out there has any stories you would like to share, email me, lighttalk423@gmail.com, and we will see you all later. Thanks. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you.